يترجم هاد ضربة جزاء اللي هدف رابع في شي امامنا اللاعب سليم ادمز اللي ياخذ مكان اللاعب رقم 20 كاليب. هذا الخطا مؤيد اللافي لعبت الكره بسرعه عند ايوب العملودي، دي فرصه رفعت كره محاوله منصف شراشم، فرصه كره طويله، دي فرصه لفائده فريق الوداد. رجعت الكره لغيشا كتضيع محاوله اخرى بسبب فريق الوداد مره اخرى من الجهه اليمنى. دي محاوله ايوب العملود شوط يعمل فرصه الهدف، والهدف الخامس لفائده فريق الوداد في بدايه هذه الجوله الثانيه بواسطه ايوب العملود. انطلاقه من الجهه اليمنى، خذا الوقت ديالو الكافي حتى انه يوضع الكره في شباك الحارس غيشا عطا، وبالتالي بدايه قويه. تمريره، دي فرصه فريق الوداد التنزاني سيمون صوبا وثنائيه خلال هذه المباراه. فريق الوداد ينجح.
It's been a very interesting night. It's been a sad night for most Phobians, obviously. The team went to Morocco and lost by 6-1. It was a scoreline many would have loved did not happen, because Gianna Stars lost by the same scoreline some years back, and you thought there was going to be an improvement. But in any case, the gulf is vast between a side who's just gone into Africa after a long time out and a side that has been winning the CAF Champions League and has made the semi-finals a resting place, and only won it in 2017 and won the Super Cup in 2018 and made it in the final in 2019. This is a side that is playing at the level. So that was a taste of top-level African football with great professionals, where they came up against a side that's finding his feet more or less of it. So it ended by 6-1. What it means is that Accra Hearts of Oak can now pay attention to what goes on in the Confederations Cup. There will be a playoff for that, and we'll see how all of that goes. But for now, we need to talk about the game, do the analysis, and I've got my friends joining me. Kofi Bolasie joins me. Kofi, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's been an interesting night. Let me put it that way. Interesting night.
Yeah, and it's been a very hard one to take. Romark, I can imagine the number of calls you have received and the number of notifications. I mean, the two of you, but the number of notifications and the tags left, right, center. It's only beginning, actually. There's going to be more tomorrow anyway. How you feel?
Well, I'm not feeling good this evening. I have to be very honest. But Charlie, it's football. It's one of those days that doesn't go well for your team. But thank God I only support Accra Hearts of Oak and not Manchester United.
And so you hope that something good can happen. It's been an interesting and strange weekend, like you say. That's about it. But let's start with it, because we're going to go straight into it so that we can give you the kind of perspective that you need in terms of how to understand the game and where we go. So like we do it, Kofi, can we start with the starting lineup? Did Coach Samuel Gwedu get it wrong? Because we spoke about one or two other things. And I think in the preview, we said that we needed a lot of we need a lot of ball winners in that midfield. It was going to be critical, the pairing that we're going to choose in front of the defense to give them the cover. And more importantly, somebody to progress the ball. All of this was clearly said in that one. So when you saw the starting lineup, what did you make of it?
Well, first of all, let me say that this is a game that every reasonable Accra Hearts of Oak fan would have taken it as not a do or die game. I mean, it's not a do or die affair. This is not a game where you can put your hand on your chest and say that you are going to win. So anything, including a win, would have been welcomed by every Accra Hearts of Oak fan. However, it's not the kind of scoreline that every Accra Hearts of Oak fan would have been expecting. Okay, so that's the basis on which we do this analysis. So this analysis is not really to say that Accra Hearts of Oak should have won. No, that's not what we are saying. We are saying that because if you do that, it means that you are not acknowledging the quality of work of Morocco and their experience over the last 5 years. But we are just trying to say that, I mean, there should have been some efforts, appreciable efforts, where you bow out with your head high up. So when I saw the lineup, my problem was with Claire Pamankwa in front of the defense, because I've said it in the preview that we did that he's very erratic. His passing is bad. His tackling is terrible. In a DM pool, I mentioned it when we did the review of the Kamsa game, where I thought she should have been sent off in the first 20 minutes. Now, because of that fear and because of how he's playing, and it's not because he played badly against Kamsa, but he's done that in the league as well. But a lot of the times, Hearts of Oak have gotten away with it. So in this game, for example, the quality is very high. The stakes are very high. The level is very different from what we do in the local league. And so if you give away balls in a DM rule, especially in a system where your centre backs are split, the centre backs are split to provide a certain level of weight in the half spaces for the fullbacks to maraud forward. So if you are playing such a system and the DM in the middle is not comfortable with the ball, then you need not pass the ball from the back. If you are going to go route one, that's fine. But if you are going to pass the ball from back, try to progress it vertically, then your DM or the register, as they call him, the likes of Jorginho, the likes of Sergio Busquets and Verratti and so on and so forth. These are players who are very comfortable on the ball. And if you watch the first 2-3 goals, it was either a faulty pass from Caleb Amankwa in the middle, or he caused a foul, a very silly foul, which resulted maybe later in the phase that led to the goal. So it was clear that Caleb as a DM didn't help. You see, I spoke about Wydad being himself, Wydad sticking to his principles and applying them. Of course, there could be a certain tweak. You see, the concept of putting Caleb in DM is to provide some sort of imaginary, defensive stability. But if you have done a careful analysis of Caleb in midfield, in the league, in the FA Cup, in the Kamsa game, you will know that the risk is high when you play him. Or if you play him, you don't play the way you play, i.e. trying to possess the ball, trying to play from the back. So that was where the problem was. And together with him in midfield, Emmanuel Neti. So back to your question, I had a problem with Caleb, and I've explained why.
You have a problem.
I had the problem, and it also manifested in the game as well. Apart from that, I didn't have any problem with the lineup. I thought it was okay to go that way. I, however, had problems with the in-game tactics. Just a little of them, which if you
we'll talk about that.
I'll go on.
Yes, we'll talk about that. Let me just pick Romark's thoughts on this. We'll talk about the in-game tactics. We'll take it step by step. Romark, this thing about Caleb Amankwa being considered or being used as a central defensive midfielder is one that we really need to watch. Felix, if I'm right, Caleb Amankwa really started as a right back. It was at Wafa. Then he moved to Gianna Stars, and a bit of that. So we will need to agree and understand that he's not your indeed natural central defensive midfielder. We need to get that straight. Do we need to, Felix?
Well, George, I don't really think so, because if you watch Samuel Bo do this season, and since he came into Accra Hearts of Oak, this is a player that he has always liked. This is a player that he has always liked. Even when he was at Midiama, he was a player he wanted at Midiama. I even remember at a point, Caleb went to Takwa just to sign for Midiama, but that deal didn't go through. And when Bodu came to Accra Hearts of Oak, he had to push the top men at Hearts to get in. So this is a player that he had followed. This is a player that he really wanted. And we've seen in games that if Accra Hearts of Oak want to go with a double pivot, it is Amankwa who comes in. If Accra Hearts of Oak is leading by a slim margin or leading by one goal, he will bring in Caleb to give him that shield in front of the defense. So I am not surprised that he plays in that particular role. So it is just that we are lucky.
So it's more of a case of fine-tuning the talent that he has.
A player who has the ability to play more than two positions, and I think that is our disadvantage. I was a bit surprised to see him start, because I feel that in a crucial game like this, you needed players that will be 100% fit, players that very well that for match games they will be fit. And I think that if you look at Caleb for some weeks now, he hasn't been that fully fit for him to even start this particular game. Apart from Radio Vuka, who had to come out for Willie Denchi, basically, and then Amankwa coming in for Frederick and Sambochi. It looks like the same lineup that he used in the first game. So I don't have a problem with the lineup, but I feel that the main problem is how we started the game. And the start of the game was similar to the way we started at Accra Sports Stadium. I said it on the space that I was with Bolasie some few minutes ago, that, you know what, we did not learn from the first leg. If you look at the first leg, the first 20 minutes, we would have been down by 2 goals or more. And we repeated the same thing in Casablanca this evening. You look at the first goal we conceded, where was the defensive marking? Mohamed Al-Hassan could have cleared that ball. You look at the second free kick. George, you've been watching football for some time now. You know very well that there are a lot of, when you set up your wall to defend a free kick or a set piece, there is always a player who goes down the wall, because now we have intelligent players who get behind the ball and they can just put down the ball beyond the wall and it goes straight into the net. And that is the reason why you have players going down. Even Messi at PSG, in their game against, I think one of their Champions League game, had to go beyond the wall and lie down to make sure that nothing goes under the wall. And we failed to do that. These are the basics that is happening in football, basic things that we see in football. And I think that the players should have learned from that. But hopefully, they'll pick up the lessons from this particular game. For me, I don't have any problem with the lineup. I think the mentality in the first 20 minutes was bad.
Okay, so Romark has made the point, but clearly Kofi would tell you that, well, you spoke about the set piece, you spoke about the issues that came. I think Kofi is going to look at it from why those issues actually came about. So which is the first thing. Kofi, so we knew that, let's start with the in-game tactics, because we knew that the first 15 minutes, number one, there was a possibility of our boys not being themselves because we're in Morocco. It's first time, most of them traveling, having to play. And number two, we had seen the approach play of WAC here and what they did in the first 15 minutes. What did we do wrong from a tactics point of view then?
Well, for me, I think that from the start of the game, I was expecting Hearts of Oak to hold on to the ball. This is because that's the idea of Samuel Boadu. That's his principles. That's how he sees football. That's his idea of football. And so I was expecting that Hearts of Oak would hold on to that. I was expecting that he would have drummed home that concept to them. Because, the more you hold the ball, the more frustrating it is for the opponent, especially when they are chasing the game. So I was expecting Hearts of Oak to dominate the game, not necessarily providing any threat, but just holding on to the ball, passing around, sending the ball back to the goalkeeper, forward and all that. But if you realize, immediately we started, Emmanuel Neti, for example, started looking for long balls.
Long balls, yes.
Mohamed Al-Hassan immediately started looking for straight away. And I thought that it was the same thing that we did against WAC in the first 15, 20 minutes. Because they are very quick on the transition. There's a lot of one-time passing, or first-time passing, as we call it. There's a lot of quick passing. There's a lot of movement over the flanks. So if Hearts of Oak decided to hold on to the ball, possess the ball, frustrate them, let them chase for the ball, it's not as if that's not what Samuel Boadu does, or that's not what he's made of. That is exactly what he's made of. So I was expecting him to drum that confidence into them, drum that idea into them. Because against Kamsa, we didn't start well. Against WAC, we didn't start well. So I'm sure, I don't know if they had conversations about it. If they did, maybe they didn't have the right conversation. Even if they had the right conversation, maybe the players could not live up to the expectation. But I was expecting them to react. Because, like we said, it was difficult to get third time lucky. We play against Kamsa very poorly in the first 30 minutes. Against WAC, in the first 20 minutes, we played very poorly. Because mind you, if WAC didn't score, Hearts of Oak would have come stronger or very strongly into the game. And that would have changed the dynamics of the game. But again, how many times do you want to be lucky? You have to take things into your own hands. Take your destiny into your own hands. Control the game. Ensure that the first 20, 30 minutes that you have played poorly in the previous 2 games, you hold on to the ball. And when you hold on to the ball, it builds your confidence. So that when indeed you get to a point where usually you settle, then you can control the game and try to progress the ball forward. But the way the game started, it was terrible. The way they started hoofing the ball up, not trying to hold on to the ball, and a lot of faulty passes from both Caleb and Emmanuel Neti. Emmanuel Neti's own is avoidable, or you can pardon him. That's what I actually want to say. But for Caleb, it's a basic feature of his game when he's playing as a DM. His passing is terrible, and so if you avoid him and you put him in, that's what he's going to do. Yes, you can use him to close games, like Felix Romark. That's what he has been using him to do.
Yeah.
In the league. But closing a game is quite different from starting a game because the dynamics are different. Indeed, in positions where you are closing the game, you are not really interested in keeping the ball. You are not really interested in playing the way you want to play. You may just want to defend, maybe long balls, or just defend and who play on the counter attack. That's when you can use players who are not very comfortable. But in this game, when they started, they attempted to pass around, but Caleb and Emmanuel Neti let the team down. And if you watch the way the goals came, they were losing the balls in very dangerous positions, right in front of the box. Yeah, right in front of the box, committing a lot of silly fouls and all that. So I think that the approach to the start of the game was not good. And from the time that we were 3-0 down, I think that really you can't discuss tactics. Really, there was nothing much you could do.
Clutching at straws, really.
It was just, just trying something and just trying to save your face. You can't really discuss too much tactics after being 3-0 down in 20 minutes. It was very difficult to come back from that. But, like, who do we blame? We have not learned our lessons from the previous two games. The approach was very disturbing. It appeared as if the players don't know what was at stake at that moment. So they gave the game out. And it could have been like this in Accra. Okay,
yeah,
so
actually, yeah.
It was just a matter of luck and not really, tactics or, yes, when we won, we have to play some Oguedu and all that. But when we were reviewing the game, each one of us acknowledged the luck that we had in the first 15 minutes. And unfortunately for us, we didn't have it today. You see, when you count too much on luck, it's quite funny because you may not have it. You don't control it at every moment. So we were just, we didn't have that luck. So we played very poorly in the first 15 minutes and we considered those 3 goals or so. So there was nothing much to really analyze the game when watching the game like that. You are really chasing shadows, trying to get a consolation goal. It wasn't working. He pushed his team very high in terms of the line.
That was causing more trouble.
That was causing him more trouble in an attempt to save your face. You see? So would you have sat back? That was also not have worked. I'm not sure how people can contain that pressure, sitting very deep, 15 meters or 10 meters into their own box. So the attempt to try to, chase the game was also good. It was very bold, but then you leave a lot of spaces behind. So if you could see the 4th and 5th goal or 6th goal or so, it was just a very simple ball and they were just raising their hands, screaming for offside and all these things. I mean, it wasn't working. The whole game was lost in the first 20 minutes. If they were a bit calmer, if they were a bit attentive, if they had paid, premium to what someone would have told them, I'm sure he'd have discussed it. Because if we have been able to, realize it, then I'm sure someone would have realized
told the players.
So, yes, he would have told them. So if they were able to side themselves up to hold the game in that period, I'm sure things would have been different. But since it didn't happen, and the luck, the god of luck also did not shine on them. The game was lost. I mean, there was no way as folk were going to come back from 3 goals down in the first 20 minutes or so.
Romark, let's talk about the golfing class, between Hearts of Oak and Wydad. And I like it that, we want to make fun about it. Like, and I don't have anything wrong when Kumasi Asante fans want to have a go at Accra Hearts of Oak fans, as Olympic, official handles tweeting stuff. It's all great, it's all nice, and we laugh about it. But the stark reality is this: that at the level, the Ghana football is nowhere yet. We don't have any team that can offer anything meaningful when it comes to Africa's elite competition. Because after all the tactics, after everything that we saw, we could see that just in a touch, a WAC player could move away from 2 Hearts of Oak players. They were so attentive, they were so quick, they were reacting, the reflexes, the thinking, they were all. So Felix Romark, I mean, when you watch it, it gives you an idea of where we are really as a country. What does it say? What does it say? And what does it mean to us going up there?
George, we don't have the facilities, the capabilities to compete with these North Africans. No, they had a player who cost them $1.8 million. The FA, the Ghana FA, has valued the league for a season for more than $2 million. That is the entire Ghana Premier League.
Okay. So go over the point again. The point is that, and I want people to hear that Wydad Athletic Club have a player who is valued at $1.8 million.
$1.8 million. It is not value. They purchased.
That's the value.
They
yes.
purchased.
They purchased him. Oh, they bought the player for $1.8 million. Yes. And the Ghana Football Association has valued the Ghana Premier League at a little over $2 million. Okay, right.
For entire season. That is the headline sponsor.
Wow.
And the same WAC team sold their captain last season to Pyramid, the Egyptian league, for $7 million. So when you talk about numbers in terms of finances and how much they put or invest in their participation in the CAF Interclub competition, George, we don't come close. We really don't come close. If you look at most of these North African teams, they participate in this competition for glory. They just want
Felix, not to cut you, I mean to put more perspective on that.
Yeah.
I think you should add more European examples so that people get the picture. So it's like Malmo. So they're facing PSG or Manchester City. So that's the kind
or Chelsea, if you like. Yeah, or Chelsea.
Chelsea, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So you see the difference between Chelsea and Malmo. It's in terms of money, players, salaries, everything.
Yeah. That was huge. So it is always difficult for us to compete. And aside that, even if you take the monetary aspect or the figures that I mentioned aside, you look at the experience from these players. Experience in terms of coaching, in terms of the starting 11, in terms of the bench. On Thursday, they played the league game. They rested about 7 players. They won that game by a goal to nothing. And then today they had to play Accra Hearts of Oak. So aside that, you feel that, even if you look at the difference in the time they need to rest for these 2 games, you might think that, maybe fatigue will come and there will be a lot, they'll get tired and all that. But look at how they started the game. So even if you put the money aside, this is a team that have competed and consistently they've been in the semi-finals of these competitions. They've been winning it. They last won it, I think, 4 years ago. The last time Hearts of Oak had a meaningful say in Africa was 2000 when they won it. So it is always difficult to compete if you look at the difference in class. And I will say this, it is not just Accra Hearts of Oak. I currently don't see any Ghanaian club going out there in Africa to seriously mount a challenge against the top teams. Not just against the North Africans, but even the South Africans. I don't think we've gotten to that level. What we might want to do is invest money into the league, get a title sponsor, make sure that we have consistency in terms of competition. We finish the league for about, let's say, 4 seasons on the trot. And then, or look at Accra Hearts of Oak, for instance, we came this year to the Champions League. We couldn't get past WAC. We will be playing the Confederation Cup. Hopefully, maybe we get into the group stage. We come back into the Ghana Premier League. We win it again. We go. I'm sure that maybe on the second, third time, if you are able to also maintain the core of these players, George, a lot of teams. If you look at El Ali went to the English Premier League, went to West Brom, and bought Pesitao from that team. A North African team going into the Premier League to buy a Premier League player. Yeah. Hey, George, that is huge statement. But we are in a country where Afutu doesn't even want to play a game because we can't increase his salary. When he's even he's demanding for what actually he deserves. We can't even get him. You look at the quality of players that we have. You look at a player like Radio Vuka. I'm not sure in 2 seasons' time he'll be at Accra Hearts of Oak. If you look at the way Salif Ibrahim is playing, I don't think in 2-3 seasons we still have him playing for Accra Hearts of Oak. So it tells you that we don't even have finances to even maintain this crop of players. for Hearts of Oak fans, I think that we should be lucky that we've been able to at least keep majority of these guys for the upcoming seasons. If you're able to do that for 2 seasons, it means that relatively these guys will have the experience to go back to Africa to compete. But George, the difference in class, the difference in infrastructure, the difference in finances, the difference in experience when it comes to quality of players, I don't think that we have the means to compete. Even if you combine the best players in the Ghana Premier League, it will be difficult for them to mount a challenge in Africa.
Well, yeah, really, we didn't intend to make this one too long because it is what it is. Kofi will get back on his video as we just try to wrap it up. You know what?
Yeah.
So, what is next for the team? The Ghana Premier League starts.
Just a quick comment on the levels. I think that Felix has made some good points. The question really is about money. You see, I think we were discussing it before we started. It's really about money. For whichever analysis that you do, you should arrive at money, because we've seen how money has changed the fortunes of clubs like Chelsea, Manchester City, and we'll see how Newcastle also are going to change in the near future, in just some 2-3 years. See how they change. So, what can we do to get investors? Because the current level of investment from our clubs, we in the media circle, there's a lot of praises for some of these owners and they are rich and all that, but come on, the level of investment is really down, and so we have to, I don't know how or whose responsibility it is, but we need top investors. And when I say top investors, I mean investment like what Mr. Chairman did some 8-11 years ago with Chelsea, when he was buying almost everything good in the country, and he was, we saw the impact of Chelsea. And let's remind people that even that Chelsea, when they beat Raja Casablanca 5-0, they lost 4-0 there. In Morocco. So it was, as for the North African countries, it's never been easy for Ghanaian teams. It's never been, even in our heydays, we were still beating the likes of Kotoko and Haas. Al Ali has beaten Kotoko 4-0 before. So, it's never been easy for Ghanaians.
And 4-0 in 18 minutes at that. They were down.
Yes. So, just around the same time that Hearts of Oak conceded about 3 goals. It's just between the same period. So, these are clubs that we cannot really play like. So, the point I'm making is that we need investors. We need top investors. We need the Roman Abramovich kind of investments. We need the Sheikh Mansour kind of investment in the clubs, in Kotoko or Haas or any other club. If we don't do that, then I think we'll be overemphasizing the point about or any other sort of analysis, because really you will still come back to money, and we'll have to just hope that maybe there's an upset somewhere. Maybe when Haas meets WAC of Morocco, they can cause some upset. If Kotoko meets Bekani and Al Ali, they can cause some upset. If not, then we should understand that Swedish champions, Bulgarian champions, Croatian champions they don't expect their teams to go and win the Champions League. So if you're Ghanaian and you expect Haas or Kotoko to go and win the Champions League, then I think that you are not being reasonable in the football, the football circles. Unless, of course, there's some investment, like was done in PSG. I think before that investment in PSG, the French teams were totally terrible in the league, the Champions League, until somebody came with some huge monies into PSG, and now they are consistently, challenged. Even with that, they've still not won the Champions League before. So we need an investor somewhere. Togbe is doing very well. If he can up the investment, if he can up it, and when I say up it significantly in terms of
and be aggressive to get more players who are good.
Yes, the salary levels, all these things will count when you want to compete. Other than that, we'll come back and make the same discussion. So we should retune our mindset that we are the Swedens, the Croatians, the Bulgarians of Europe.
We don't really have a place in the semi-final.
No, we don't have a place.
Tennis, right?
Yes. When the top 5 leagues are discussing chances of winning the Champions League, I don't think these countries also are part of those discussions. So that's how we should see ourselves from now, and then hope that maybe somehow, like the Moldovan team is doing, Sheriff that team.
How far can they go, though? The question. I know it's right.
Yes, that's Sheriff. I don't know.
But how far can they go?
Like what they are doing, yes. It happens once in a while, you know.
Yeah.
If a club from Ghana can do that, that's fine. That's fine. But really, that's where our expectation should be. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to say about our level.
Right. Just to top all what you guys have said is that when you look at the trend analysis of the clubs that win the CAF Champions League, they keep on recycling players and coaches. So a coach wins it here, he falls out with a certain team, he goes back to another team,
he moves to the next one.
There, then he moves. So there's a little circle that they're just going around. If you don't have the money,
it's just the same as in Europe. I mean, it's the same coaches. Ancelotti, Pep Guardiola, Mourinho.
So if you're not buying,
they are moving around the same.
If you're not buying or attracting that quality, you don't get into the circle, even the players.
No, we are not supposed to even discuss it. It's a taboo to discuss about the Champions League.
George, you look at El Lali. Their budget to compete for football in the season is around $30 million. If you win the CAF Champions League, you get $2.5 million. Look at how much they have even budgeted for the entire Egyptian and then the African season. 30 million for you to just go and compete in a tournament that wins you 2.5 million. The CAF president was in town on Thursday and he said something. He owns Mamelodi Sundowns. And do you know what he said? He said he realized that it is peanut if you win the CAF Champions League. You know what they did when Mamelodi Sundowns won the Champions League? He told the players that if you win the competition, you will share every penny of the $2.5 million. So when they won it, he gave the money to the technical team and the players. Ask yourself, Bolasie talk about people investing. Ask yourself, should Asofo go and win the Champions League and get $2.5 million? Would Togbe tell the players, Bodu and Co, go and split that money?
2.5? No.
You understand? So if you get
money.
It is huge money.
Huge.
How much did they even get for winning the double? Some players got as low as 4,000 cedis. So that should tell you the difference.
The disparity, the disparity is huge.
You know, I think that maybe for us to get a chance at the Champions League or any of the CAF Interclub competition, unless maybe they increase the number of teams, maybe to 25 or 24 teams, and that is when
even that you struggle in a group stage. Even that struggle.
Because the competition is not only North Africa. There are also some very
the other top,
West
African sides who have huge investment, like the club that bought Patrick Razak,
Horoya for Guinea.
There's also huge investment there, and there are other clubs. So the North Africans are the top tier, and then there's another tier.
And these days, the South Africa, even to the Southern Africa, also
the South Africans,
the Eastern Africa, they're all looking to do something great.
I think for West Africa, we have a long way. If you look at TP Mazembe, look at the investment. They travel in their own private jets to games and all that. You look at how Hearts of Oak to go and do transit in Dubai before they get
that the CAF president to be interested in a club in Ghana because we have the talent. If the CAF president buys a club in Ghana, we can win the Champions League in the next 2 years. Because there's a lot of talent here. It's there for the money, cash.
Yeah.
Who's going to grow which money? Because like Felix said, the returns are peanuts. So it's really about just loving to invest. Because you get it.
And George, you know, I asked the CAF president this question, that why is it difficult for Africans to have access to their games in Africa? You know, we sit on TV, watch all the European qualifiers, their World Cup qualifiers, but it is difficult for us to watch our own games in Africa. And he said something. He said the past president of CAF have signed deals with this competition that has tied them into getting a lot of revenue. And that is one of the reasons why he wanted to create another competition called the Super Cup. Because when a competition is fresh, it means that you can rearrange your TV rights, you can rearrange winnings and all that. But CAF Champions League and CAF Confederation Cup still have legal issues surrounding them. So there is no way you can go in and try to change things. You now need to fight that legal battles before you can talk about increasing the prize money. So we have a long way to go. But I'm just hoping that if for nothing at all, we should get a title sponsor for the upcoming league.
And the upcoming league he's talking about is just some 7 days away. We'll see how it all goes, though. So it's not easy to get a title sponsor in 7 days if the work has already started. And whoever the potential sponsor is ready to just sign the paper and say go. And normally, if they would have done it so that they will get a lot of mileage before the league starts.
That's true. But George, before you go, I have to admonish the Accra Hearts of Oak fans. You know, like I said, it's not a do or die affair. Every Hearts of Oak fan is expected to act like a reasonable man would do. I mean, from all the analysis we made, you should have seen that it was really a mismatch on paper. But Samuel Boydu with his, good coach, gave us, a snippet trying to get them. And it's sad that the reality check has hit us.
Yeah.
So, there's no need for panic. There's no need for pandemonium amongst the fans or the coaches or management. You just have to move on. I mean, you enjoy the throws. People will throw you. It's normal. You've mentioned that already. Hearts of Oak will drop to the Confederations Cup. They'll see whether or not they can get to the group stages. If they don't, it's also not a do or die affair. Because even in the Confederations Cup prelims that we are going to, or the final qualifying round,
I'm hearing things like pyramids and all of that.
Yeah,
there's pyramids and goal. There's some crazy teams there as well.
There are also crazy teams there who are spending huge sums of money. So it's not even automatic that you get to the group stages of the CAF Confederations Cup. Like Felix had mentioned earlier on, you have to you have to dominate the premier, the local scene. So you win, you go, you drop out, you keep the core of the team, you compete again, you drop out, and finally you'll be able to make it. If not, then you have to come my way. My way is money.
Yeah.
If you are going to spend a lot of money, you can get the success quickly. If not, then you have to do some project kind of thing. That will take you about 4 or 5 years. And even that is not a guarantee that you are going to win it. That project may probably just take you to the group stages or the quarterfinals or semi-final. Because as for project, it cannot win you in the cup. That's for that one. It's the money that wins it for you. I mean, everywhere. It's about the money. The project may get you close, but you may not able to win. So as of now, I don't think we are going to get some extraordinary investment in Hearts of Oak. So what you have to do is to continue the project. Make sure you dominate the local scene so that you're able to participate year in, year out. And then you keep the core. So it's not even only about participating with the same group of players. That's how the project works. Because if you are going to participate and we are going to see a new starting 11 next year, then it's a waste of time.
The problem, you start again. It's like you're starting all over again.
We are starting all over again. So Hearts of Oak fans should keep calm. The scoreline was very disappointing, but the effect of the scoreline is that WAC has eliminated you. And every reasonable football fan, including reasonable Hearts of Oak fans, would have expected a Hearts of Oak would not be able to, beat this Moroccan side. So they should just take it like that.
And we'll take it cool. Everybody takes it cool. But hope that,
I remember Adriana
had a good draw in the Confederations Cup. Yes.
So if for those who know how to pray for luck, they can do that, and then you can get some Madagascar team and
get into the Confederations Cup.
So that you can get to the group stages. Other than that, if you go and get these North Africans again, or even TP Mazembe who have been knocked out, I mean, they'll bring their hand on. We'll do the same analysis.
Thank you very much, Kofi Bolasie, for joining me on the show as always.
Thank you, George.
Felix Romark, it's been good to be here.
Yes, always great. I mean, we got to do Felix Romark. Thank you very much. And let's say, look, we appreciate the whole team, the playing body, the technical team. We appreciate everybody. I mean, you've done your best. We know clearly you went out there to do your best. It's the game of football and the way things go. So yeah, we end on the note there. 6-1. We've lost. We'll see what happens in the next time when we sit down to talk. I think it will definitely be when we are aware of what the draw has taken us, or what kind of draw has been made for Accra Hearts.
One thing also is that it's good that the league is about to start, because it can take away the pain from the Hearts of Oak fans.
For a while,
because you're going to beat Lagos cities and Co. I mean, those teams are not at the standard of Hearts of Oak at the moment. And so you'll be looking to dominate them, and then it takes away the pain from this. But if you think about this one, the standard is too high. There's nothing you can do about it.
Thank you. Hope this has been soothing for everyone. We're definitely back with more. Thanks, Romark. Thank you, Kofi, as well.
Thank you, George.
Against the post. That is a howler there. I did talk about the former
front of the Hearts of Oak defensive line again. Anytime there's an opportunity, they are just simply off color. Happy God again, give it a chance now, trying to make it 6. Happy God gets his second goal, and Hearts of Oak are down by 6 goals to 0.